Well, hello to each and every one of you. I'm Derrick Scobey, pastor of the Ebenezer Baptist Church here in Oklahoma City. I haven't done one of these in a long time, but I wanted to do this today because today we've had worshiping with us Madison Horn, and I know that name rings a bell. Certainly, Horn to many of us for a lot of reasons, but Madison Horn, she is running for United States Senate. And I've heard just so many great things about her platform as a whole. There are some who maybe feel like there's no way that she can win this race, but there is a way that she can win this race. But that is going to take us getting up off of our blessed assurances and going out and voting. So, Madison, welcome to Ebenezer. I'm grateful that you're here.
Absolutely.
Share with us just a little bit about yourself, like where are you from,
Sure.
and then talk a little bit about your political platform.
Sure. So I'm from right here in Oklahoma. I'm actually from Stillwell. If you don't know what it is, Pastor, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go about 3 hours east and almost hit Arkansas, come on back.
I worked at UPS, so
you know.
they used to throw steel well into still water to see if we could catch what they were doing. So I know steel well.
They
Yes.
tricked you.
Yeah, they did. They tried to, but I got it.
All right. Well, so that's where I'm from. If you don't know anything about Stillwell, it has the lowest life expectancy in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
And I know. And that's where I'm from, and I'm very proud of my home. I'm going to be very clear.
Yes.
My community did a lot of my raising, and I'm very thankful for that. My dad was an ag teacher for 35 years, so you know the life. I was covered in muck. But through hard work and love of my community, then I was able to leave my community. And I hate to say it that way, but like so many places across Oklahoma have been forgotten.
Yes.
And in my community, there is little to offer. And I left Stillwell looking for opportunity to work with kids. That was my love. I was abused as a child, so working with kids was my way to heal. And I loved it. But God always has a plan for us, and it might not be our plan.
Yes.
I ended up working in cybersecurity and have for the past 15 years. And it was a different track, especially coming from Oklahoma, the last state to get the telephone. So I didn't know much about technology, but again, through work ethic, love and compassion for people, then I was able to work across the globe, working to protect American interest and to develop people. And it was a blessing and has been. My campaign and my decision to run really comes out of compassion and what I hope to be humility, which I believe is what's missing in our leaders of today, and really wanting to unite us versus working on all of those issues that divide us.
Wow, that's great. Tell us a little bit about really your platform as a whole. What kind of, because it's not just about Democrat Republican. There's because I'm a firm believer that we have to learn to reach across the aisles and work together in order for our state to move forward, and then our country as a whole to move forward. But maybe for our viewing, listening audience, explain to them you're running for United States Senate. So that is something that is going to affect possibly the landscape of the country as a whole, but you're certainly going to have the best interests of Oklahoma in heart as you are in D.C. So talk to us about some things that you can do, you will be able to do should you be elected for the state of Oklahoma, the residents of Oklahoma.
Absolutely. So you're correct. My campaign is not about a party or a color. It is about people. And right now we have so much distrust within our elected officials, so we've got to get that back. So for me, my first mission is to rebuild that trust, both internally with our elected officials, but also with the people within our communities. Because that's why we're disenfranchised and people don't want to vote. I hear it across the state. They say, well, they don't represent me. They don't work for me, but we do. This is a job interview, and for us to show up for people. So first and foremost, my purpose is to unite and work on those issues that are affecting the table. Next, it is about our workforce and looking at that. And people are like, what do you mean by workforce? I believe that education is the gateway for the future. but what are we doing to enable our future generations to be able to have those jobs that are perhaps industries that are going away?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? And Oklahoma is ripe for it, but we've got to start investing in our education systems and creating alternative pathways for our youth who perhaps don't want to go to that 4-year degree program. Maybe they want to take a 2-year degree program. And I'll tell you, my industry, for every one person that works in it, there are 11 open seats. The average salary in my hometown is $22,000 a year. The average salary in cybersecurity is $125,000 a year. You could go to a Votech and enter this industry, but we don't provide those pathways for people so that they can better themselves. And so that's a lot of part of my mission, is ensuring that we're working on those issues.
So it sounds like you're saying that some of us, I'm not going to put words in your mouth.
Sure.
What I see in our state often is one track, one track mind.
Right.
There was a rap guy from the 80s, Egyptian lover, used to talk about one track mind. They have this one track mind that the only way that you can go get an education is through a 4-year university. But my wife Angela talks always about, Votex and just things, getting a skill that you can take that and sky's the limit for you. So I think we do have to do a better job of leading our young people and letting them know for you to be successful, it's not that you have to go to OU or OSU or Langston University. There are other alternate routes that you can take. So thank you for sharing that. That is really good. So with this, and Cam, we're going to edit right here. So Angela, I know you have some questions, so give me a question or two, and then I'll ask her that question.
Putting you on the spot.
Because no, that way. Well, you're not on, but because it's not, it won't be running. So.
Question: running for Senate and creating that uniformity. How?
Yeah.
It's a big goal. And we have one in place. A couple of people who've had one in place. That have divisive
rhetoric
criteria. That has just. So how would you do that?
Sure.
So let's look for another word. It's the uniformity. Just that's because unity.
Yeah.
So all right. So Madison, we've had so much division within our state, within our nation, and I believe that it's been there for a long time, but it really started about 6 years ago. It's like everybody just felt like I don't have to be implicit anymore as to how I feel. I can just be very direct, very overt. So how do we foster a sense of unity amongst white people, black people, Hispanic, Asian, because we are all one human race. So how do we do that? How do we start moving away from all of these divisive issues that we have had over the last 6 years, especially?
It's going to sound basic, but I think it is through accountability and transparency through our elected officials. Right now, there is a lot of divisive rhetoric. And where is that accountability for our elected officials who are spreading some of that disinformation? So what I'd love to see is a higher code of ethics. And this is not to impede on freedom of speech, but as a leader, you should be held accountable for the way that you lead and lead people. And so we need to be thinking about code of ethics. Throughout my career in cybersecurity, I have fought to fight disinformation, and we have to do that. We can't be leading and then spreading something that is not true, because that is what's creating these small factions and for people fighting against one another, which is unnecessary. We need to be talking about the issues in which are going to move us forward together, because we've stopped investing in people, and that's what we've got to get back to. So code of ethics, stopping all the spread of disinformation.
Thank you for sharing that. So let me ask you this: January 6th, was that all right? What happened?
I was in DC when January 6th happened, and it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for a number of issues. I am a patriot. I am proud to be an American. Am I proud of the decisions that our country has made all the time? No, but we can heal together. January 6th was based on an individual that wanted to stay in power, leading based on ego, not based on humility, not based on compassion, and we've got to get that back to leadership, true servant leadership. What happened on January 6th cannot happen again. Again, we need to focus on moving forward as a country, protecting our election cycles, and ensuring that we're electing officials who care about the people of Oklahoma.
That's great. I was going to ask you this question, but let me make a statement. I'm sure those who are viewing, some of you, you're looking at her, you're listening to her, and you're saying, how could she really know how I feel? How could she? And you're going to edit this. What else? What am I trying to say? How could she connect? Like she cannot. Looking at her, listening to her. She cannot connect with my plight. Help me with that. What am I saying there?
My situation, my community.
Yeah, but
Commonality.
yeah, that we're getting closer.
Not someone you might think of as having your issues in mind.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
So our viewing audience, they could be watching right now. They're listening to you. Great command of the English language. They're looking at you and they're thinking, there's no way that she can relate to the issues that I'm dealing with in my life on a day-to-day basis.
Sure.
But there is one thing, and I'm just going to talk to you all for a moment, that I think you missed. She says she's from Stillwell, Oklahoma. The lowest life expectancy in the nation. So that lets us know there's a lot of poverty there. So she's one of those people that sometimes I say about myself, I say, don't let the suit fool you, meaning that I've been through some things in my life. So I have a feeling she's been through some things, and she said she has. She was abused as a child. So I like when we have people who have come up through the mud and the grit of life, and not that she's arrived, nor I or anyone else, but at least where God has put this person in a position that she can help someone else along the way, because she can relate to a lot of issues, because issues are not just black and white. There are so many other issues that deal with poverty and as it relates to health disparities and things of that nature. I have a feeling that she can relate to that. I believe that she probably has some cousins and relatives that they're still there. So yeah. I'm grateful and hey, nothing against her opponent, but he's not been there for our people group and our community as a whole, and we need a new voice. We need a new voice in D.C. coming out of Oklahoma, and we have to make some changes in Oklahoma, and change is on the horizon. So, Madison, anything you want to share as we close this out?
Well, I very much appreciate the invitation. I appreciate you drawing that connection, because I do want to walk it like I talk it. And I say that because the last sermon that I went to made that statement. And that is my purpose. I started this campaign traveling to all 77 counties across the state because I want to show up. I want to be the person that understands the community, at least learns and listens. I can't solve everybody's problem, but I will at least be a servant to learn and to listen to you. And we're doing it again. We are traveling across the state again to see all 77 counties, because that's how you rebuild trust, that's how you learn and can truly be a servant.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Yeah.